All right, everyone, here's an opinion here that probably won't be too popular with a lot of you, since I know, like, I guess at this point the audience that I'm drawing leans somewhat to the right, or at least off into populism land. Being more of a libertarian, though, I disagree with most people that consider themselves on the right. They support the death penalty, like disproportionate to people who consider themselves liberal. I actually oppose its existence by and large. Like, I think if some axe murderer or rapist or something gets killed, by a person, like they're trying to like rob or rape someone, they get shot, I think it's a good day for the country, and I celebrate the fact that they're dead. I think it's wonderful. But I don't think that the state should wield that power, and here's the reason why. Under the enlightened idea of, the sort of justice system we have here, justice system being a loose applied term for it, you have to treat people equally, and people who are accused, they have certain rights. Like, you can't just throw someone in the gulag forever on a whim. There has to be evidence and a trial and so forth. The problem is that, as we've seen, sometimes people, it turns out, are innocent of the crimes they've been convicted of. Sometimes you've got a corrupt judge, corrupt prosecution, the cops have planted evidence, the person, they leave DNA at a scene, but they just were haphazardly there, they get blamed for the crime because one person kind of sort of saw something, they get thrown in there and they get, basically put on death row. And so there are people, presumably, quite a few, who have been executed by the state who have actually not committed any crime. And then there are people who have been put on death row in the past, for various things and hanged like 100 years ago, who did things that now they wouldn't even apply. Or you've had people executed in states that then the population decided they didn't support the death penalty anymore. And so retroactively, like, well, maybe we shouldn't have been gassing these people or something. I think that the state generally, having the power over life and death at the federal level or even at the state level, I just don't feel comfortable with. Like here in Vermont, there's no death penalty. I also think there's other reform that should be administered. For example, a lot of things that we label crimes, like drug possession, the most topical sort of, they shouldn't even be crimes. Or you think of like someone gets imagine that someone's going to be wrongfully arrested and they don't put up their hands right away, they can get arrested for resisting arrest even though they've committed no other crime. That's basically the crime of saying that you're innocent, sort of thing. That's a big sticking point for libertarians. I think that most of the people that are in jail shouldn't be in jail, and I think that for the most severe crimes the sentences should be longer. A lot of times you hear some child rapist gets like 5 years in prison. Well, yeah, you can understand when they get out and the family immediately has them assassinated. I wonder why that happens. By the way, vigilantism, yeah, superior to the state as a functioning authority over life and death anyway. More localized, more likely to actually understand the truth of the situation than some state prosecutor anyway. Just let people... what they should do is this. They should offer people the chance to die, though. Here's what I've always thought we should do. We should build a coliseum, right? For people that are basically... We should eliminate the death penalty itself and just have life imprisonment for people who would fall under that umbrella. And it should be a limited number of crimes that carry potential of life in prison. Rape, child molestation, murder, I don't know, certain high-level crimes. You put them in the coliseum. And you put them on a tiered system. Let's say you start with 8 guys. One of them will survive. They do, death matches until only one's alive. That person, then they get they go from life in prison down to whatever minimum sentencing it would have been. And if they win the next time, they go free. And so you can cull down the prison population significantly. You can eliminate prison overcrowding. You can certainly sell pay-per-view and tickets to these events. You'd clean up. The prison system would definitely be for profit then, and you have cleaner prisons. Yeah, I think it'd be great. And then, of course, if they're innocent, they can appeal and not on death row or anything. They're like, hey, I didn't do it. Revisit the evidence. The other problem is sloppy police work in some cases. Like, you remember the O.J. Simpson trial where they left evidence just fucking sitting there and they were handling it without, protective gloves and weird shit, and they screwed up the prosecution because the police didn't really seem to know what they were doing or didn't care. And so someone who, was probably guilty of murder goes free. But under our criminal justice system, you couldn't convict him. And any fool could have told you that O.J. Simpson was going to go free anyway because of the botched prosecution that was going on. The botched investigation by, the LAPD or whatever. Crazy talk. But I don't support the death penalty, not in the sense of execution. At the very least, make it a for-profit situation and build a little coliseum. We can literally build a replica of the entire Roman Colosseum, top to bottom, only it won't be in ruins, preferably in an area without a lot of earthquakes. You fly in the prisoners, you have little holding cells and stuff, just let them beat on each other. And for lesser offenses, you could have something similar, and in that one, it's more like sparring. It'd be like UFC or something. They're not going to kill each other. In the lifers' corner, they have to kill each other. So you have 8 men, one of them will survive. I don't see the problem with this. What the fuck's wrong with that? If someone wants the chance to fight for their life, to fight for a chance at redemption, maybe facing down death multiple times will keep them from doing stupid shit again. Of course, there would be certain classes of criminals, like psychopathic serial killer. Probably you wouldn't want them the chance of going free. That'd be a little bit problematic. Maybe they can fight for, I don't know, the more cushy island prison. You'll have something set up there. Their reward is, basically what Hannibal Lecter was going to get in Silence of the Lambs. You'll get under SWAT team surveillance, you can swim around in the contaminated anthrax water or something. Yeah, that'd be fair. Or maybe you get a quicker death, of course, if you're one of the losers. We should have something like that. Be more useful. Make these prisoners, give them a chance. If somebody feels like they have no chance, like I am on death row, I am going to die, I am in lifer, there is no redemption anymore. Fundamentally, I don't agree with that concept. The state crushing someone's psychology to that degree where there's no possibility of ever getting out again, I think is unhelpful. And I think it sets the wrong example for society as well. It teaches that the state has ultimate authority. But I'm not a statist, I'm a libertarian. I think that people should be able to fight for their freedom and potentially die for it, which is A-okay because, you get a bunch of murderers there anyway. Let them kill another person, and it'll be legal. Yeah, so you can give them, like, baseball bats and knives or something. Like, give them a set of weapons and they can sort of choose. Like, Colosseum style. Like, I think there were 3 or 4 kinds of gladiators. Like, in the Rome, there was the one dude had the trident and the net, and it was modeled after Poseidon or something. Then you had the dude who had, like, just the armor and the leather vest and a short sword. And then you had the dude that had, like, what was it, a spear and heavier armor. And so you had different kinds of gladiators. And I guess to be allocated to the light armor was considered like basically you were on the chopping block, you probably died. Because the dude with the net, he's got a clear advantage. He's got, he can net you, and he's also got, a distance weapon per se. The other dude's fighting with a little, fucking gladius or something. It's not going to work as well as a, giant-ass trident. Assuming the dude's powerful enough to lift all the armor and the trident stuff. I think probably weighed 20 fucking pounds. It was solid metal. So yeah. That's what we should do. That's about all. Peace out.